this is a very interesting episode of No Neutral because at the time of this recording, we are on the precipice of opening the floodgates for changing the landscape of who is qualified for Capcom Cup. Yeah, Capcom Cup, the one where, the players are competing for $2 million in pricing. Yeah, kind of a big deal because right now, all of the World Warrior events have finished their qualifying rounds. The 5 tournaments leading up to the regional finals where players compete to earn points, where the top 8 players will then go to the regional finals to battle out one last time to qualify for the Capcom Cup spot for their region. So I believe there's about 22 spots up for grabs that are going to be proceeding over the next week or two. So if we look at right now who's qualified for Capcom Cup and the characters and the meta that it represents, and next week it's going to be entirely different. So we thought it'd be interesting to go through, discuss who's qualified so far, what characters we see, and who we speculate might be qualifying very shortly, because there's going to be a lot of tournaments happening, a lot of action to look out for, and a lot of people punching their ticket into Capcom Cup. And, looking at it right now, we got to get it out of the way. The current king of Street Fighter 6, the current king of qualifiers, it's Ken. I did the math here. I tallied up the character representation, and we currently have 4 Ken players qualified for Capcom Cup, and then the next year we have only 2 representatives.
The MOP not going to like that, Brian.
Oh, the Ministry of Propaganda?
Yeah.
Listen,
that was so
it's up to them. We just report straight facts. No neutral here. We just report straight facts.
You're right.
Listen, even though that's the opposite of what no neutral means.
Yeah, I know, but I know what you're saying. But it kind of works if you think about it. Like, we ain't being neutral. I get what you're saying. I understand what you're going for.
We'll let them put their spin on it. But the hard data is there's 4 people who main Ken currently qualified for Capcom Cup. I mean, who they play at the Cup itself, that's their prerogative. And only 2 Luke players. So, I mean, the math, it kind of, do what you will with that. But we have Angry Bird, Phenom, Kusanagi, and our first World Warrior qualifier, Mike X, out of the Canada West region. They kind of got their regional final on a little bit early. So 4 Ken representatives. But then we have 2 DJ and 2 Luke in there. So DJ, kind of a little bit
Shout
of a late
out to those
bloomer
DJ
here.
players. Yeah, man. He a late bloomer because of the effort it takes. Like you couldn't just pop in the game and just immediately get to, understanding the depth of his play.
Right. You got to work on your cardio a little bit before you can start sprinting at that speed across the screen to,
disrespect.
I mean, that's no disrespect. I'm respecting the athleticism that it takes to achieve such a feat. To travel at the speed of green lightning, it's actually incredible.
You see how you are? You see how you are as a person? But I'm not gonna sit up here and lie, man. Like, I've been talking to Enda Walker, and of course, Enda Walker is playing DJ now. He thinks that DJ is the best in the game. But the way that he plays DJ is more like risk reward based. Like, he believes that he doesn't try to play DJ in like a super slow, neutral based way necessarily. He thinks it's worth it to take, like, I'm gonna do hop knee, I'm gonna do sway sometimes, of course I'm gonna drive rush sometimes. So I think people are seeing that a whole lot more nowadays, where the Abare or in the risk reward with DJ, because of his high damage, is just it's just very in his favor. So I think we're going to see more DJs qualify for Capcom Cup. 4 to 2 DJs right now.
Well, we have Namikaze out of Brazil and Jabiem out of South Africa. And of course, people are looking for players like Fudo, right? I mean, so that's a tough one to call. So, like, Shien, what we have coming up, Shien is definitely a contender, especially out of his region. So, man, there's so many World Warrior events and so many potential players. So there's a really high potential for more DJs to make it into the Cup at the end here. Definitely a lot of them are qualified for these regional finals. But then we have Luke, right? So we have NL, who qualified with Luke, and also Chris Wong, who qualified out of winning the CPT France. So Luke's been doing really strong here. Do we expect more? I'm thinking about US West, maybe. We have Noah the Prodigy, who's been doing a lot of work. Samurai as well. I guess 2 of them are potentially going to qualify through either the CPT or the regional final. I expect some more potentially. I don't know. Anyone else we're thinking of? Yeah,
of course. The two-time Capcom Cup champion, Dominican Republic's finest, Mena RD. I mean, so far this year, come on, bro. The dude has, of course, he just won Capcom Cup. That was this year, mind you. It was last season, but that's this year in another game. This game comes, people don't even bring up if he even won CEO, which of course that's not like a premier event, but he won CEO. Then you see him at Evo, 2nd place, Singapore 4th place, France 2nd place, and so far he is not in Capcom Cup, and it hurts my soul. But with that being the case, I highly doubt that there's even a chance that Mena RD doesn't end up punching in his ticket.
I disagree. There is a chance, and that's what's terrifying about this.
You're right.
Look at the region. So we have the World Warrior event coming up. His World Warrior it has people like NuckleDu, Punk, Idom, and there's
and
potential.
That's not even to say it's still like the Space Boys and whatnot of the world.
Yeah,
don't be surprised, but don't be too surprised if
there's been upsets. There's been upsets in these World Warrior events. Mena RD is not completely uncontested in these events. I think he's won the majority of them. But he's been put to losers bracket. He's been, he's had some setbacks along the way. So the U.S. East, incredibly strong region. But is that going to be another one for Luke or another one for Blanca? Because actually, if we look at also the U.S. Midwest, Flash Metroid came out on top as the #1 ranked player in the World Warrior with Blanca as well. So there's potential for more Blanca there. Flash is actually a solo Blanca main. I'm going to do my best personally to put a stop to that.
Yes.
Coming up for my regional final.
I'm glad you made it in that, by the way, bro.
Oh, I had to squeak my way in there. I had a few road bumps, missed one of the qualifiers, but I snuck in.
Another
in
potential
second.
Luke right there, Dual Kevin
as well. Yeah, there's lots of potential for that character. So yeah, we'll have to see how that goes. But I want to give a big shout out also to our recent CPT Premier qualifier, Garnet. He just won in Europe West with Dalsim. So we have decent variety already there.
And then, so as far as the characters that we have to have one representative, now this is where you see a whole lot of variety, right? All of this, people have one, all these characters only have one representative so far. Chun-Li, Juri, we're going to save this other one for last. Zangief, Rashid, Dawson. Then these two are surprising. JP and Guile. A bit surprising. I would say
it's
JP
right
is
now.
more surprising because, and of course, this at the time this recorded. I would say JP is a bit more surprising because I think more people play him than play Guile, is what I mean. Not even talking about tier list.
I think Guile and NA is just very successful. Like there's definitely not that many Guile players, but the ones that compete are extremely successful, right? NuckleDu, he's been the guy. Like he has even more tournament presence than Punk does right now, just because I think he enters on try hard mode more than Punk does, right? He's in every online weekly, playing his main, attempting to win and cash out. Players like Brian D as well, doing extremely well, and Kaba. So we've had like these three players in the North American tournament scene reigning terror on us, so we see him all the time. But there's not as many as JP. So yeah, it's funny to see the villain JP with only one qualifier right now. Yeah. However, he is prevalent. He's in these World Warrior regional finals all over the world. So I expect the most improved after this 2 weeks might be JP.
You think so?
But I think this is his chance to really to represent his actual position in the meta.
Or Luke.
Yeah, I think they have the biggest chance to climb the rankings right now. There's definitely a lot of players who play JP or are qualified, but
who do you expect not to? This is the thing. This was interesting. Who do we think is going to stay at 0 right now? The characters that are not represented in Cup, at least based off we know who plays them and all that. Right now, there's no Ryu, no Jamie, no Kimberly. Hey, just listen to those names. Hey, no comment. All right, no Ryu, no Jamie, no Kimberly, no E Honda. Blanca will be in there, we assume. No Manon, no Marissa. Oh, we know Marissa's getting in. We assume.
No Cammy.
V Wasim might have something. No Cammy, no Lily, and no Aki. Okay, the Cammy, of course, we know we're looking at Punk, we're looking at Hurricane. That's not a guarantee that we'll see Cammy, which is kind of weird to think about. No Cammy. But what about these first three, man? Ryu, Jamie, Kimberly, maybe Zerna, young Zerna?
The character we're not seeing in Capcom Cup is Jamie. That's all I can say.
You ain't, I swear you ain't lying. Who
I think literally any of these other characters has a bigger shot. I mean, even like characters that people had traditionally wrote off, like Lily. I think we've actually seen a lot more tournament success, especially modern Lily.
I agree.
Hibiki the Beast, and even Chakotay is in the regional final for Midwest with Lily. Kichipa was also rocking modern Lily at CPT France, and he caught a top 16 finish with her. So we've actually been seeing Lily do a decent amount of work in these regions. But Jamie's the one that's not represented at all.
Yeah, because there's
many of these characters.
You never even see anybody pick Jamie as far as at the highest level.
Yeah, in any of these CPT style events, you don't really see that character represented. But the characters I'm surprised about right now, Marissa, Cammy, and even Blanca, like those are the characters I expect to have a high chance of making it in with a lot of high level representation, especially Marissa. I feel like there's bound to be a Marissa in there. I would be so surprised because
now we're seeing what Problem X is doing with Marissa as well.
Yes. So Cammy's the one who I think doesn't actually have that much representation at the highest level, right? We have Punk and Hurricane, and I think Kazunoko as well. There's a few others, but she's not as prolific as you might expect given how strong she is. And Punk, I expect him to make it in as well, but that region, Knuckle-Doo, Punk, Mena,
you could see any of them not making it in. And
there's only 2 spots.
Making it in feels so weird, bro. Like
could
you imagine a cup without? I'm not speaking into existence. Knock on wood. Like may the best player win. But yeah, Capcom Cup without Punk sounds so weird, doesn't it?
But this is the Olympic format we're going with, right? This is regional representations, about sending your representative from your region. It's why we have the World Warrior program here. We're sending 2 from every region. And that's how it is, no matter how strong they are. I mean, only 2 players from Japan are getting in. You got Daigo, Bonchan, Tokido, Kakadu, Kazunoko, Fenrich, you name it. They're in that region. Only 2 are being sent, right? The list goes on, especially for Japan. We were only talking about really 4 and USEs. Listen, our bias is showing here. Let's be real. But that's the format. It's brutal. It's cutthroat. It's competition. And the best man's got to win for that region. So we'll see how this shapes up over the next couple of weeks, because I'm telling you, check the results, check the tournaments, check your streaming sites, whether on Twitch or YouTube. Look for Street Fighter 6. You're going to see people from all over the world competing and qualifying over these next 2 weeks. So whatever your agenda is, too, if you want to upplay or downplay your character, pay attention to what's going on in the world of Street Fighter 6. There's a lot of CPT action coming your way.